I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Allegron's won the Brisbane Cup, but it's all Antino. Blake Shin, take a bow. Barraquil, Benny Allen hasn't moved.
Broadside him, bobbed, won the Golden Rose.
Pride of Jenny, trying to find the reserves at the 100. She's 3 in front of Mr Brightside. It's all too late. Pride of Jenny has run them into the night. Switzerland, a big winner by 2.5 Bellatrix Star.
He's down, Jolly Star. She is a star in the making. Jolly Star bolts in.
It's all Isthmus. She's very smart and fast.
I thought we'd start this not at all related to horse racing, all right?
Yeah.
We were texting during the week about the anniversary of, or just about albums in general this week.
Yeah.
So I was going to knock your socks off with some anniversaries of 10 and 20 years in the album game. And I feel like music in general is in the headlines this week. Not like a diss track getting 5 Grammys this week with Not Like Us. That's wild stuff. But albums that came out in 2015, right? To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick.
Yep.
So 10 years of that. Currents by Tame Impala.
Yep.
Now, it wasn't Starboy. Starboy came out in 2016, which we were talking about.
Right.
But Beauty Behind the Madness by The Weeknd came out in 2015.
Hectic.
And this one's just for us. And it's our podcast, so I can do this. But Depression Cherry by Beach House.
Oh, hectic. Beach House, wow. Haven't thought about them for a long time.
Yeah. Now, albums that came out in 2005, right? And if
Yep.
we're talking in equine terms, I believe that was Mackay Diva's third.
Yep.
So we're talking Mackay Diva's like a champion becomes a legend sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was actually looking through these albums, and I reckon friend of the show, friend of ours, dear mate, who's actually getting married this year, Mitchell Swepson of Melbourne Stars fame, of Test Cap 464 fame.
3 years.
Demon Days by the Gorillas. I reckon this is like a transformative year for young Mitch. When he was a young 12-year-old whippersnapper.
Feel Good Inc. Absolute banger.
Late Registration by Kanye.
Yep.
The Massacre by 50 Cent.
The Massacre. Bro, you're a rapper.
In Between Dreams, Jack Johnson.
Yep.
And this is one that really made me think of Sweat. Monkey Business by the Black Eyed Peas.
Gee, some classics there.
I know.
2005, mate.
Where's the time gone?
We were just 2 little whippersnappers last year of high school. And, of course, now year 7 is high school. Things have changed massively. Do you know what has changed massively?
Your opinion of a certain horse that won a Group 1 yesterday?
Yeah. That's exactly where I was going. Like, was I betting big in the race? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, had my little bet on the 3-year-old Colt Private Life, who I think ran well. Yeah. But it's clear out of that race, there's 2 weight for age horses in that race.
Yeah.
There's only 2 of them.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Another Wil had the dream run. Just Jamie Mellum.
Yes.
I was about to say Jamie Carr. Jamie Mellum rode him to perfection.
Who had the cushier run? Mr. B or another Wil? I think Mr. B did.
You reckon?
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, I think another Wil, though, had the perfect scenario where he could chase him down.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say either of their runs was cushy, but the another Wil run had plenty of merit. And, some horses have different timelines. I talk all the time about 4-year-old mares. And I backed one yesterday that did nothing. But sometimes geldings as well can take them just a little while. I remember Mr Brightside went through a period where he was probably a 4-year-old gelding. And, he was working his way through the grades, and then he was running in Cox plates and stuff like that, and was just a level below. But then he came back as a 5-year-old and was a much better horse. So another Wil, great first up run. He looked ready to win in the yard. Yeah, he's in for a good prep.
Yeah.
Never be one of mine.
I think he's, as you said, he's just him and Mr. B are the ones that you want to take out for weight for age level.
So much better than every other horse
I
in
know,
the race.
I know.
So much better.
Yeah. Like, poor old John O'Shea. Schwartz ran last. And he was $6 into about out to 11s before the race as well, Schwartz.
Didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Didn't understand it. I thought this time with the money coming for another Wil, I thought this time was different compared to what was it, the Doncaster that he bombed in with that Celestial Legend one, and the Toorak handicap as well. The money came for him both of those times.
Both at the mile. 1,400 metres, I reckon, is his sweet zone.
Yeah, so he'll be a force to be reckoned with in the futurity in a couple of weeks.
Huh?
What the hell? 1,400 metres, another Group 1 at Caulfield? It's so bizarre. And literally all of these will go around again, you would think. But those two are so much better. That could have even been Mr Brightside's best first up run ever. Like, I guess you look at the rest of the field and you sort of think, oh, nothing that flash in that field. But, geez, he looked good.
Yeah. Oh, he does what Mr B does. You know? It's, but yeah. There's, they beat Stepardi by 5 lengths, the rest of these. Like, another Wil, official margins, basically half a length. Like, he was...
reeling away.
Yeah. But, yeah, Stepardi ran well, but he's not a Group 1 horse, Stepardi.
No, I could see him winning a Group 1 handicap at some stage.
I don't know.
I could.
There'll always be something else, though, you know? Like,
Yeah,
he'll be around the mark. It's
Probably.
like he's Group 1 placed in a Caulfield Guineas, I believe.
Yeah.
And he's, like, full credit to Paul Prushka because he's got the horse back and he looked gone.
He looked gone.
Yeah. Private Life, back 5.5 lengths. So, you know, we were there or thereabouts for the first 4 eventually. But Southport Tycoon, do you need to see him actually do the damn thing again?
Yeah, I just thought he was a big price in that race. But it showed absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And it just makes him bombing Growing Empire in the Manikato that night even more frustrating.
Yeah, well, where's Growing Empire at? Like, I want to see him come back and do the damn thing again.
He could come back even better.
Yeah. Was he the first 3-year-old home in the Everest, Growing Empire?
Yes. He ran 3rd. Lady of Camelot ran 4th.
Yep. Okay. Interesting. Because you can, through Lady of Camelot, you also have, like, Arabian Summer, that type of form line too.
Yeah. And they both had a dead heat for 3rd in the Coolmore, with Bellatrix Star running 2nd on the inside and Switzerland braining them. Of that first 4, Bellatrix Star's injured, so it won't be featuring in the order.
Oh. See, I didn't know that. There you go.
I think Lady of Camelot has reached her peak. I think Growing Empire has the most room for improvement, but Switzerland could come back an even better horse. So if they're ever racing each other, I know which one I'm taking.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, another Wil. So where to for him now? It goes to the futurity, and then what? Do they try him at an All-Star Mile? And
I don't know. Sydney.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's proven he's a first-up performer. Like, he won that benchmark 100, absolutely bombing him. And he's actually quite versatile as well. Like, in a pinch, you can lead on him. I don't think that's where you see him do his best work. He's best when he's got a bunny to chase, as he had yesterday. He's still to tick that Sydney box, but I reckon, there's so many different options for him. He'll find something.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
whether it's in Sydney or in Melbourne. So, very good win. Great ride by Jamie Mellum. Now, my headlines that I wanted to talk to you about. Harry Coffey with 4 winners.
Yeah. Yeah, and all of them, except for Arabian Summer in the last, are pretty juicy odds. Duke de Sesta was a shock.
Yeah.
That was
dry track.
Yep.
But it goes to my theory with these stayers, first up over a mile. You can trust them for the right one, but I still wouldn't have gone the Duke.
No.
Because I think the Duke, 58.5 kilos in a set weights penalties. I think he was top weight.
Yep, he was.
So...
No, he ran super. Duke de Sesta, he's in for a good prep.
60 kilos.
In for a good prep going to a Tancred, 2,400 metres weight for age. definitely a shout. I was on Wings of Song. I thought Wings of Song was a terrific bet in that race.
Without cover from the 800.
So didn't get all the favours. Still happy to trust her. I think she's a horse who can definitely reach black type. But probably want to see her against her own sex while she's a 4-year-old. In that race, the one where I was like, ugh, Warmonger.
Yeah.
Like, just was straight at the back, super negative, and barely ran on.
Like, are we going to see him have a little bit of a break? Let's get him back up to the Sunshine State for a Brisbane Cup. Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be nice.
Where he had the demolition in the Queensland Derby.
He really did. And look, aside from that, which was incredible, he had that first up win, first up third, where he beat Via Sistina home on a wet deck in the springtime. Aside from that, like, has he really been that good in any races?
I think, did they go, I reckon they went third up into a Caulfield Cup and he failed, but he also broke through the barriers. Remember that?
Yeah.
So I just think, something's obviously not quite right. He's obviously not got the sprint in his legs. Maybe that spring campaign, because he went a South Australian derby into a Queensland derby. Maybe the spring just came too quick for him.
Maybe. And sometimes when horses are overworked, it can take them a while to get back to where they need to be. But also find this stable, the Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. stable, like, they just have a lot of horses go awry, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Where all of a sudden they were really good and then...
And they can get them back, though.
They can. Do they ever come back as good as what they were?
It's hard to say, though, because when they're up and going well, they're probably around their 3-year-old, early 4-year-old season.
True.
Right?
And then once you graduate,
then
maybe you find the pecking order.
Yeah, exactly. So, who's to say?
Not I.
Yeah. So Harry Coffey was sensational with 4 winners, and Bjorn was taking the piss in Sydney.
He's been taking the piss for months now. It's an extended run of piss taking.
Yeah.
Like, bro's bladder, always empty. Always taking the piss.
And you have a theory on Bjorn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
I do have a theory on Bjorn.
Like, basically, where odds on, watch on for Bjorn. Now, it wasn't his fault with he's done too hot or whatever its name was in the last 2 out of 5.
He's done hot too, yeah.
2 out of 5 lane. So you obviously forgive that. He should have had 4, basically, Bjorn. But he had Point and Shoot, who is better than 78 grade.
Yeah, he absolutely is, yeah.
Like, probably the perfect run in transit. The wind was coming from, like, rail out.
Yeah.
So, basically, wouldn't have been affected by the wind at all. And absolutely zoomed past him and said, "See you, bruh." He was at $2.60, which goes against your theory. She's an A-lister, absolutely brained him and was supported to do so. I think she was $5 into $2.90. Jason Collette on board. But then he had, this is where you would have got your cash, highlights at $17 in the second last.
Yeah, and showing nothing. Showing nothing up until then.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's on fire at the moment. He's one of those ones as well, though, where I don't know if he's the best at placing his horses, Bjorn. Like, you see a lot of his really high performers, like a Steffi Magnetica, for example. Like, he actually has quite a low strike rate. And she's, to her credit, she's obviously been running in really high grade. But you see a lot of his horses are like that. I feel like he maybe takes the plunge a bit too quickly with some of his horses and doesn't move them through the grades as well as others. But, like, who gives a shit about that? He's on fire at the moment. And, you know, I like Bjorn. Long may it continue for him. Even though he's a Kiwi.
You know, and he was actually unlucky that Within the Law didn't win that race.
Yeah, she ran super.
Like, and Derby Silks only cost 30 grand. Gives me big She Will Reign vibes Within the Law. Mm-hmm. Keen to see what she can do on a wet track if that eventuates.
Yeah, absolutely.
She Will Reign was one of the great swimmers of all time.
Yep. Do you know who was a good run in that English Millennium as well? Grafterburners.
Yeah.
It was a super run. Little bit unlucky. Back to 1100 from 1200. like Kelly Schweeder should keep him down south because I reckon he could be a $20 to $30 pop in a slipper.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely isn't the worst.
No, not at all. And SP $21 in on the weekend. The thing is, and I always kind of disregard the Millennium form references like moving forward.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little bit different this year if we think the 2-year-olds are kind of even. Mm-hmm. There was a question from one of the drifters here from Andrew Bova. Is Within the Law the least shit 2-year-old we have?
Within the law's smart little filly. I think there's a couple above it in the pecking order, obviously.
Woderton or Woden.
Yeah, and we spoke about this during the week. We're talking about My Gladiola in the was it the preview or the prelude yesterday?
One of them.
One of them. Fucking hot. Honestly, she was. I think when we were doing the podcast, she was red odds already, and it's like, yeah, she could very well come out and brain them, but you see these 2-year-olds debut and then they can take a massive step backwards and then vice versa. So there's no way in hell that I'm ever gonna dive into those odds, and sure enough, she ran second. Yep. Doing the donkey work up front didn't look super comfortable, but that's the thing with 2-year-olds. Like sometimes they can just be like, no, I'm not interested in racing today. Yeah.
I think she did very well.
I think she did. I think she can win the Blue Diamond.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Like, and terrible draw. Surprised they went forward, to be honest. Like, how taxing will that be? Because apparently being on the rail was not the ideal place to be at Caulfield yesterday as well. So we'll have to see. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a shout out here. The two that I highlighted in the Millennium ran 1-2.
Yeah.
Rivanillo and Within the Law. That Quinella paid $9. So
Drifters, do you ever have a roast without gravy on it? Do you have just dry fucking meat, shitty boiled vegetables? No, you have the gravy on it. $9 is gravy. Yeah. That's what we're giving to you.
Price tag, you were against, beaten 2 lengths, and started 360. Market came for it even further.
Saw a lot of people pushing forward. Wasn't interested.
Not interested.
Wasn't interested in that.
And friend of the show, for all of you new listeners, we've actually had the great, powerful Jason Richardson on the show way back in the day.
Yeah, one of the great and powerfuls.
Yes, like that. He has a skull of consequence.
He really does. He really does.
Fountain of knowledge in there about so many different things, including horse racing.
He knows what he's talking about.
But Richo had his best of the day was My Gladiola yesterday.
Oh fuck!
Not his best.
Nah, it's not your best, Richo. Not your best. Yeah, so, well, I guess looking at that race, I'm not massive on times, but they ran slower than the boys, and it is the prelude, the Blue Diamond prelude, the fillies. But I'm not massive on time because for me it's more about like race shape and how quickly it was run like early on versus late and all that sort of shit. Do you have any insight into comparing those two races, the boys versus the girls?
It'd be about 2-ish lengths slower. The girls versus the boys, so the boys would have been about 2 lengths quicker. But the other thing, which is when they actually go against each other as well, and we see this with the 2-year-old races when they're against their own sex as well, the boys are set weights at 57 kilos, the girls are set weights at 56. So the girls get a kilo advantage as well.
Yep.
So it will level out somewhat.
Yep.
They're all babies anyway. I think
they're all babies.
Well, I think it's fair to say it is very early in the 2-year-old season, but I think the Sydney 2-year-olds are far superior.
Way better. Way better.
We typically see that all the time, right?
Yeah.
But I think,
way better.
Way better.
Going to the boys' race, Field of Play by Deep Field, 2-year-old gelding. I found that interesting. You don't really see a lot of geldings going around in the 2-year-old brigade. So apparently he was supposed to be going to Hong Kong, but for whatever reason the deal fell through. But they must have gelded him as part of that deal because you don't see a lot of colts racing in Hong Kong because there's no stud farms. So, but he's clearly got some talent. The one that I'm going to take out of that race, though, is the Yurong horse, number 11, Devil Knight. On debut, by Extreme Choice, Bro's a racehorse. I reckon Bro's a racehorse.
At 40 to 1.
Yeah. So this is the disgusting thing about Marcus at the moment. With all due respect to the good people at Ned's, if you've got the Blue Diamond market open now, Devil Knight's $15.
Oh,
That's way too short.
That's tough. When he's SPing at 40
exactly
to 1
right.
on the weekend,
Exactly. But he was. But I looked at him after the race and I was like, oh, he's one who could improve massively second up into the Blue Diamond, and particularly with that stable, like they can get a 2-year-old right, absolutely. But $15 is way too short. But what else I found fascinating in the Blue Diamond futures market is Palm Angel comes into $5, way too short. My Gladiola out to $9, and I think she was $5 before yesterday. It's like, well, I know where I'm going to put my money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Particularly when this still has field of play in there who's not nominated. This is the Ned's market, obviously. Wotan, he's not going to go to this race. Rivellino's in there. Like there's a stack in this market who aren't actually going to go there. So if you're getting My Gladiola at $9 now, a lot of those horses come out. She's not going to be $9, and I think she can bounce back absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Draws a better barrier. Yeah. Palm Angel was interesting. SPing at $7.50 yesterday. Start prior when My Gladiola made a mess of him. She was beaten down into 5th, but if you can forgive one run, which you obviously can, she SP'd that day $3.80. So I think that was, all things considered, pretty big price.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of her starting there yesterday, because her debut win was very impressive. And I like that it was in November, 8 weeks between runs. You have that kind of professionalism of a prior preparation, which I like with my 2-year-olds as well. Okay. I think there was only one other 2-year-old race that we haven't talked about, and that was
The Lonhro Plate.
Bella Zane,
Another friend of the podcast.
She-Boss.
Sammy Sheehan in the ownership of Bella Zane. She has black type.
Best bet of the day. When we put up that story, he's like, mate, Bella Zane just wins. And so it did.
And was tough as well. Good tough win. Bella Zane by Zusane, son of Zustar.
Another one that's had a prep prior.
Yep.
So, got that professionalism. It's always a box that I like to see ticked.
Even if they run like she did, 7th in her first ever run, it's like, well, she's got the race day experience.
Exactly.
And when you see the market support come for them in their second prep with that stable, it's like, well, we don't know anything. The market knows a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that was a good smart win. Good on you, She-Boss.
Yeah. How exciting.
Think big. Think big.
He actually outlined the prep for her. So let me get this up real quick. Sweet Embrace, then into the slipper. Imagine having a slipper runner, bro.
That's what dreams are made of.
So, Zusane filly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gee, wouldn't that put him on the map?
It really would.
Zusane of putting a shiver down the Autumn Sun's spine fame.
He was unlucky, Zusane. He came up against some really smart horses, and he's doing great work at start and a lot cheaper than his sire Zoostar, same stud farm Widden. So, astute purchase, Sam. You really know what you're doing, mate.
Yeah.
Hope you're in good health, brother. By the way.
Yes, well said. Only other thing that I wanted to raise about the 2-year-olds was Aleppo Pine.
Yes.
Lame in the right fall.
Thought something was up.
Just
faded.
It's like, oh, how far? And then literally the handbrake went
it faded. Okay, well, that's a forgive. What do you do now? You maybe pull it out and aim for a slipper?
Massage it. See if we can get him back.
And not a very big horse. Like, if you saw the eventual winner for Field of Play run past a lot bigger horse.
Yeah.
A lot bigger. And sometimes in the 2-year-old brigade, that counts.
Seen a lot of bivouacs get a few placings, which I like to see. Yeah.
I thought I was on expulsion in that race just because it was a big price. I felt had something small each way, and was sort of stalking the leaders. I was like, this thing could just run past them. Just faded, just faded expulsion. You could tell Mark was just like, fucking hell. Yeah. He's like, if this wasn't Godolphin, I'd be pissed off. Yeah. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
So what was the name of the Devil? Was it Devil Knight?
Yep.
Trained by Team Hawks.
That's what I said. The stable can get a 2-year-old right.
Algorithmic in that Long Road Plate as well finished off very nicely.
Very nicely.
Zeus Star Colt. So I think it's been a long time between drinks for
The
Team
Hawk
Horse.
stable, yeah.
Yearning, I think that would have been 2021, I reckon. So for a Group 1 winner. So
Particularly from a stable like that, which has had so many high performers.
Yeah.
Like, they had exceedance.
yeah.
That was a smart 3-year-old.
Yeah.
3-year-old brigade, that's for sure.
And they can talk up like them winners like no one else. Oh, he's a superstar colt. Remember when Ole Kirk won? This is the best horse we've ever trained. Huh?
Ole Kirk was a good horse.
Yeah, but he wasn't that good, bro.
No, he was not that good.
No.
Didn't the Hawks train Lonhro?
Yeah.
If you say Lonhro's the best horse you've ever trained, it's like that's a fair answer.
Oki's son.
Oki's son.
You're disrespecting Oki's son.
There's a beautiful horse Lonhro as well. May you rest in peace, the big fella. A beautiful horse.
Yeah. Important semen that he had.
Oh, yeah, he had phenomenal semen.
All right. What other headlines did I have here? We talked about Rivanello within the law. Nash and Here to Shock in NZ. 1 ride, 1 win. Group 1 Nash. He's back.
He's so unbelievably hot.
Because I texted you in race morning. I'm like, watching Channel 7. I'm like, thanks for the insight. Didn't know there was Group 1 racing in New Zealand today.
New Zealand, yeah.
Yeah, but Here to Shock. $4. When I don't know what he won in the spring, but he was better gravy than what he faced there.
Yeah.
Thought that was generous.
Yeah. Oh, Group 1 racing in New Zealand, like
Bizzusto ran second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Aussie Quinella.
Yeah. It's, with all due respect, New Zealand racing, like I'm looking at the classics for the 3-year-olds if I'm respecting the form. Outside of that, I'm not really respecting it. Look, Here to Shock, not a bad horse. Nash, not a bad jockey. In Australia, yes, and into New Zealand, superstars. Son of Shocking.
Yeah.
No, it's good to see.
Yeah. I was wigging out watching the broadcast because I forget the Hayes boys' names, but there's twins there. So they interviewed one of the twins like at Caulfield afterwards. And then they had vision of the other twin like bringing it in to Shock. I'm like, how the fuck did you? Oh, that's
right. And they look like identical twins as well.
But it was like a perfect amount of time later. It was like 90 minutes later where I just completely forgotten about the race. I'm like, what the fuck happened here?
Ben, Wil, and JD Hayes. More than one place at a time. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. But there is another winner in New Zealand that I wanted to highlight coming over here. So going up against the likes of Numerian, Sharp and Smart was in that race, who's at odds. You know, talk about being a superstar 3-year-old, and then not going on with the job. But El Vencedor, absolutely brained him by probably about 5 lengths. And Numerian on his day, he's a fair yardstick, I feel, for like those middle distance ranks. So if you're beating him by 5 to 6 lengths,
You're competitive here.
I think that horse will come over here for our middle distance ranks and be competitive. And I reckon you'll get a decent price for him.
Absolutely. I've noticed it a lot more in the last few months. Australian trainers are sending horses across to compete against the Kiwis. Chris Waller had Conasana recently. She won over there in a group race, maybe Group 2 or Group 3. So I find that interesting that that's sort of happening all of a sudden, maybe just because there's a bit of an increase in prize money and it's slightly easier gravy. But, the Kiwi form, keep an eye on it.
Like Creek was in second there. Le Creek's been here with, sparing success. But beat her by 4 lengths. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think this horse is on the 6-year-old gelding, so... but was 1,500 up to 2,000 there. I think there's a lot of upside.
Yep.
So he's one that I'm going to keep in my little black book. What I thought we could do, let's do that last actually. Let's get through some drifter questions. I only saw this when the question was sent through. Thoughts on Pride of Jenny returning to racing?
There's been whispers of that for a while.
There you go.
Yeah. Look, we know what Tony Otterbray's like. I think he can be a bit spur of the moment type operator. And obviously when she bled, had to have 3 months off. In the springtime, he probably just thought, look, she's a bit older. You know, what else does she have to left? What else does she have left to do on the track? Let's just retire her. But if she's, if she's cantankerous and jumping around in the paddock and, showing lots of signs of life, why not? Why not bring her back out of retirement? I'm not the biggest fan of how Tony operates a lot of the time, but, if he wanted to go back on his word and get her back to the track, I would not begrudge him at all.
Yeah.
Because she had so much interest.
The thing that makes me a little bit uneasy about it is that, she bled at the end of last prep. So I'm like, how much is left in the tank?
Yeah.
Realistically. What else does she owe you? So, that's the only thing that left me a little bit.
Horse welfare type situation.
Yeah, it's like, if she wins like a Group 3, Group 2, it's like, sure.
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the only thing for me. Now, from Josh Buttonshaw. Oof. Rumour has it Gack got home faster than drifting. Thoughts?
Drifting. God, I didn't even think about that horse. Look, what I'll say about her is she owes us absolutely nothing. No, drifting. She's the most well-named horse in Australia. She owes us absolutely nothing. We were both on Arabian Summer. Life's good. Life's good. I'll tell you what, though, if we're talking about Caulfield winners and Caulfield failures, I thought a very smart winner yesterday was Angel Capital.
Yeah. I've actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 horses to follow from yesterday, and Angel Capital's one of them.
Yeah, I was keen on him, very keen on him. I can't remember what I said on the podcast, but I may have said something along the lines of he'll come back a much better horse.
Like you said, Celestial Legend sort of stuff.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
What the hell? But I think the point I was trying to make is Celestial Legend was pretty good in the spring as a 3-year-old. Showed talent, but didn't actually capitalise on it until he came back in the autumn. I think Angel Capital's a smart horse, and I like Clinton McDonald as a trainer because I think he's a straight shooter. He's pretty honest, and when he was talking about Hayasugi, he was always had such a massive opinion of her, and then she went around on big odds on Blue Diamond Day. Angel Capital, he's yes, this horse is a superstar. And I don't think he'd be saying that unless he thought it. And Ben Mellum said the same thing as well. So he's come back a lot more professional, more mentally switched on. He's bigger. And that wasn't the easiest run. I think he was lucky Evaporate was trapped. But I don't know if Evaporate would have ran him down.
No, I think he still wins, but Evaporate all dressed up, nowhere to go. He's come back super. You want to see that after a failure in the Cox Plate.
Yep, absolutely. So...
he's still only 5 lengths off the track record into last. So, but that's definition of a gutbuster.
Absolutely.
And that could ruin horses with lesser constitutions.
Yep. So, question then, without notice. Let's say Private Life and Angel Capital are both heading towards the Australian Guineas. Who would you prefer to take at this stage?
Probably Angel Capital at the mile. I don't know. Slight query there. Whereas I think Evaporate is proven at the mile several times, albeit at the Valley in 6-horse fields.
Yeah.
So.
Private Life?
Nah.
You prefer this form heading to the Aussie Guineas?
I don't think Lightning will strike twice for Private Life. That's the way I'm kind of viewing him. I think he's okay.
Yeah.
But I think Angel Capital finishes closer if he's in the CF Orr yesterday.
Yeah.
And Evaporate probably. Maybe nudging him out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'd say Angel Capital without thinking about it too hard. But yeah.
Yep. No, I like him.
Yep.
I think he's a smart horse.
Yeah. So do I. Another question here. From Matt McGudden. Josh Buttonshaw has never strapped a winner. Can we bully him? Now that's unfortunate for Josh.
Unlucky Josh.
But I swear, if he hasn't strapped a winner, then did Drifting not win? So maybe there's a bit of mayo on that.
Yeah, Drifting's definitely won because we've won on Drifting multiple times.
Maybe
That's got to be mayo.
Yeah, has to be.
Unless she's changed hands and she's gone into the losing hands of Josh.
Oh no.
Maybe that could be the answer to her turnaround in form.
Unfortunate.
Sorry, Josh.
Yeah.
Look, the writing's on the wall, brother.
Yeah. You can have your reply if you'd like. But yeah, now good friend of the show. Sorry, I didn't put your name on here, bruh. But that's Molly in race 9 in Brisbane, best ride of the day. Now I do have this race up to show you. Want to get your thoughts on this? Won't show you all of it, but from about yellow and red out the back here, right? So just peeling and work. And at Doomben, hard to do. Now, we've had one that's done it. Now, get some interference there. Now, in terms of ride of the day, I don't think it's ride of the day sort of stuff because it's kind of just point and shoot.
Yeah, it really, really is.
Impressive win, though.
Great win. Yeah, just literally running straight past them.
Yeah.
50 metres to go. Oh, look, ride of the day, no.
Yeah.
Like, that's you're taking it out and you're just hoping that it can run them down.
Yeah.
Like, there's not much else you can really do in that situation.
I thought that ride was very similar to J Maxwell and Rivanello.
Yes.
And it's like, you have to have the horse under you to be able to do that.
Absolutely you do.
Because what about all the ones that did something similar and ran third last?
Yeah, exactly. Which is usually what the horses do that I back. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So, wouldn't have thought so, but happy to have your nominations for Ride of the Day.
Yeah, send them through, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, horses that I want to follow, right? Arabian Summer.
Yep.
Big fan.
Yep.
I think she's up there with one of the best sprinting 3-year-old fillies that we have, I reckon. She just has, I think the McAvoys have placed her very, very nicely.
Yep, she's a good little filly.
across
A
the
very little filly.
Yeah. But has a big ticker. Runs very fast too, which helps. But I think, in these 3-year-old, lead-up races to, the grand finals, think your Angel Capitals, think your Evaporates, who was unlucky, Arabian Summer, and even Public Attention in Sydney.
Jeez, that was a good bet by me.
The cream rises to the top most of the time, doesn't it? Because there's a lot of dross in the fields.
Yeah, there's so much dross. It's literally you've got 4 or 5 horses in each of those that are going to do something. I thought Public Attention was a very smart winner. And I was confident he'd come back a better horse because it was his first prep last time out. No, he was good. And look, linebacker. First run as a gelding, I thought he went well.
Well, he's on my horses I'll never touch again list.
Is he?
Yeah. I need to set... All right. I reckon linebacker will win a race, but it'll be as a 4 or 5-year-old gelding in a benchmark 78.
I don't think he's better than Public Attention or even Gatsby's, but
the 3-year-olds that he's going to be racing against are far better than him.
I think he's the benefit that linebacker has though is that clearly he's shown ability to jump to the front. What his issue was yesterday is that I don't think he was able to settle up front.
But so that's after the ultimate gear change. Settling was the biggest issue with him in the last prep. So it's if he's still not settling, it's what? Do you cut the sack the sack little the little sack
that's left over?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
There's nothing else.
It's a good question. No, I think I think you're right. I think he's a horse who will win races, but not at the elite level.
Nah.
Big fan of Public Attention though. I'm just a sucker for a grey colt, and I'm a sucker for those silks. I just really am. I get drawn in every single time. Look, is he the cream of the crop for the 3-year-old colts? Well, I'll tell you what. If we're getting to the Randwick Guineas, which obviously broadsiding is going to be featuring in that, if it's a dry deck, I'm looking at Public Attention and broadsiding and thinking, is broadsiding that much better? I don't know. If it's a wet deck, I think you were right about him in the spring. He's an elite wet tracker.
And if you're saying that, and I've made this point before, if you're going like, but his win in the JJ Atkins was on a good 3. Look at who he beat.
Dross.
Absolute dross.
Absolute dross.
With all due respect, but there was nothing there.
Nothing at all.
Of any note.
Nothing at all.
It's like...
I think he still runs well on a good deck. Don't get me wrong. Cox Plate, he ran super.
You know what it reminds me of? Is when you look for... It's like, all right, it's been pissing down all week in Sydney. And you're like, all I'm looking for...
Who are the swimmers?
Who are the swimmers? And you see something that has, two starts on heavy for 2 wins. But they were 3 years ago in maiden grade.
Yeah.
It means nothing.
It means nothing.
It's like you actually have to... Context is everything.
Yep. The lucky thing for broadsiding is typically in Sydney around the autumn time, it is very wet. So,
and I don't think he needs it super wet. He just needs some sort of give. He needs
to give, yeah.
Like, and he's like his trage goes up real quick.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm fascinated to see how that sort of unfolds. Public attention. Is he going to follow the Celestial Legend path and head towards a Randwick Guineas and then a Donny, or are they thinking he stretches further out to a Rosehill Guineas over 2,000 metres? I don't know. Written Tycoon. Who's his dam? Let's have a look-see. Ligramore by Ifraj. Interesting. She's a grey horse, obviously.
And it's a cool thing to kind of... more often than not, they're like political names, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Do you know why that is?
I'm not sure. I think it might be one of them, maybe like Tom Magnier,
right?
Is like, that's what he does, like home affairs, public attention. But did you also, there's public attention and then private life going around at the same time, which are obviously polar opposites. Jeez, had my belly going off like a cut snake. Ligramore is by commands. Where are your wins? Where are your wins? Trying to find the results, but right. Who cares?
I have Gatsby's in the linebacker category as well. Never touching him again, I don't think.
Were you on him yesterday?
Yeah. Benny Scarf was.
Oh, is he still going Benny Scarf?
Yeah.
Holy dooly. Is he still doing like, are the bets getting bigger and bigger?
Like sicko sort of stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God.
So.
Yeah, it didn't give me, like, reading the form, I'm not interested at all. And I think the market wasn't interested either.
There was some sort of support, but yeah, I think the support was big time on linebacker. And in my opinion, if you're backing linebacker off those trials, you're a sicko. Big time. And what was the other one? Yeah, Schwartz. Poor old Johnny O'Shea. I reckon that it might be time to see other people.
Do you know what, though? Like, Schwartz is just not that good. You know what I mean? And I feel sorry for Johnny O'Shea because obviously you want to get the Group 1 so that, those connections can have their Group 1 winning stallion. But we've seen, particularly recently, is that, and it could be because of fertility issues, drifters, but there's some horses who are winning Group 1s who are then going to stud and then they're not being supported at all and they're coming back.
Was Golden Mile one of them?
Golden Mile's one of them.
Yeah.
Because not all Group 1s are created equal. And I think with the market tightening, because, it's a tough economy out there. In this economy, people want to spend their money on stallions where they feel like they're getting more bang for their buck.
Yeah.
I look at some of the fees associated with some, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, for example, Exceedance is the same price as Cylinder. And like, yeah. I know who I'd rather be taking.
Like that.
They're both by Exceed and Excel, but I think Exceedance is a much better horse than Cylinder.
The 3-year-old crop that he was going up against, yes, Bivouac and Exceedance. You look at all the races that they competed against, they were in the trifecta every single time.
Yeah, they were elite.
You chuck in Libertini in the mix there as well.
Zusane was going around there as well.
Yeah, Zusane and my girl, Brooklyn Hustle.
Yeah, that's an elite crop.
Yeah, that's like
sprinters.
that's a pretty good crop.
Yeah,
Of,
that's probably the best we've seen in the last probably 6 or 7 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were there for Derby Day when Exceeders just absolutely fucking brained it.
He absolutely brained them, didn't
Yeah, that was good stuff.
he? Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
No, it's a good point. It's a great point. Now, the horses I want to follow. Arabian Summer, Rivanello, Within the Law, just wait for age horses in Group 1s. Honestly. Angel Capital, Evaporate. El Vencedor, and Point and Shoot is better than 78 grade.
Yeah. I don't know where he gets to, but he's better than that.
Yeah, but remember, like, friend of the podcast, Craig Sneesby, like, Methuselah was doing similar stuff in benchmark 78 grades over 2,000 metres. Then they lobbed him into a Metrop. Point and Shoot could do something similar throughout the autumn, I would have thought.
Yeah. He's a 3-year-old as well, so very lightly raced.
Yeah. So
No, he's good.
They were the ones I wanted to follow.
Yep. Nah, pretty much with you. Exactly the same. And then I'd throw Public Attention on top of that as well. I think he's smart.
Yeah. Now, Stewards Reports. Now, the victim has this in him. Lubarami.
God.
Lame in the first. Aleppo Pine, lame in the right four. Then Reluctantly Charmed in the last. EIPH and lame. So that cannot possibly help.
Nah.
Then he's done to Hot 2. Fuck. 2 out of 5 lame. So, yeah, the source and... So what's that? That's about 15% of their selections were lame.
We have excuses. We have excuses. We have excuses. Now, the victim found a few.
Yeah. I think the source found one at $1.50 in the first. And Point and Shoot, that was about it. Personally, I had about like 10 seconds yesterday.
Oh, did you?
It was tough stuff.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, your boy finished up massively, as I said to you yesterday. What a way to start the autumn. Gee whiz.
Well, it's better than, starting behind.
Yep.
So, but yeah, not a bad day of racing. So what do we have next week? I saw Bruce's face on Channel 7 yesterday saying there's 18 weeks in a row of Group 1 racing.
Holy dooly.
Yeah. I was like, Bruce, what are you doing? Now, the Black Caviar Lightning. I think this is where we see our girl Itzmus first up.
No.
Oh,
She had a throat issue, yeah.
Fuck!
Yeah, I know.
This opener, it's the opener curse.
Wow. And I don't know if she'll be right even for the Newmarket handicap, which is such a shame because she was just going to get better and better. Our girl Itzmus, daughter of our girl Scholes.
Fuck.
She owes us nothing,
No.
but it's a shame. It's a shame.
Because if we're talking like trifectas and stuff, she's featuring.
Yeah, absolutely.
God damn it. That sucks. All right, so looking at the Lightning market, Switzerland at $3.20, Growing Empire $3.80, I Am Me $8, Traffic Warden at $8s, Estriella at $13s. I Wish I Win at $15.
He won't go there. I think he's going to start in the futurity.
Okay. Moods has that in him, doesn't he?
I think I Wish I Win's being aimed more over 14, 16 as prep.
Interesting. Benedetta at 17s, Marzu, Stretton Angel
Marzu?
at 17s, Espionage at 19s, Lady of Camelot at 21s, Mornington Glory, Overpass at 21s. Overpass. If he's heading there, that's a bet.
Yeah. It's on the wrong seaboard, though. Look. I know who I'll be on. And you know who I'll be on. Yeah.
Yeah, Cornwall have a bit of a mortgage on the Lightning, don't they?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
He's a smart horse.
Well,
Very smart.
that means that the Blue Diamond's like 2 weeks away.
What the hell?
And that also means that, like, the Futurity and Oakley played the same day.
Yeah, I know, which is
Which
is a bit...
Yeah, Blue Diamond, we've kind of talked about this market. My Gladiola at $9.
That's silly. That's an overreaction.
Yeah. Surely there'll be like 1 or 2 of the Sydney horses come down, which could add interest. The Futurity, pretty much the exact same odds. Mr Brightside and Another Will, $3 and $3.30 respectively.
It's so stupid.
And the Oakley Plate, Estriella 380, Switzerland at Fires probably won't be going there. I'd say Big Ray. That hurt, Insurrection. Fuck, that hurt.
Yeah, that would have hurt.
I thought I was so much better. I thought I just kind of nailed it. And then Big Ray and Jai. Jai gets on with Ray.
Jai does get on with Ray. He's still a weak-gutted dog, though. With all due respect.
Ooh. Jimmy Star at $11 there. Interesting. Still be weighted quite well in a handicap.
He would be, I'd imagine.
Ostraka.
Interesting.
Arabian Summer at 17s.
That's interesting.
Mahaba. Could forgive him for one poor run.
Absolutely.
And he's, as I said, not a first up performer. And he jumps out of the ground second up, I reckon.
Yep.
Third up.
Yep.
Briasa, $26.
Interesting.
This is an interesting market. It will mature
It will Rennie mature.
as the field matures.
Yep.
But we will be back in your ears on Wednesday doing some previews of the big racing on the Eastern Seaboard.
Previewing preludes and preluding previews.
You heard. All right. See yous. Hooroo.